Hi there guys, welcome to Boxbread. I'm going to briefly run through some fights that are happening tonight, just give you my thoughts on them. Not going to be as detailed a breakdown as I'd usually like to make, but it's best that I get out there and make a video now, because the longer I leave it, the longer this lull in my videos for the channel will go on, and I really want to get back into making more regular videos. So the first one is obviously Gennady Golovkin going up against Adama tonight, putting his title on the line. You know, Adama's lost 3 times, he's never been stopped, so that would suggest durability. It would suggest that he could give Golovkin a tough fight and be difficult to break down. The thing is with this is that, don't get me wrong, I'm going to watch it, because Golovkin, when he's on, you want to watch him because he has knockout power, he's an exciting fighter. I believe he has the highest KO ratio of any title holder right now. I read that somewhere. The guy's got power, we all know that about Golovkin. The thing is, Adama is one of these guys, when you look back upon the guy's career, Ousmane Adama is not a name that's going to jump out at you, okay? It's kind of a gap filler, you know? And I just see that the way that's going to be, the way it is for Golovkin. I would expect Golovkin to get the stoppage victory. Maybe difficult to break Adama down, perhaps, but I'd expect him to get there in the end. Either way, I'd expect Golovkin to win this fight. Let's see if Adama can make it interesting. Let's see if he can try and make things difficult and try and get things his way. But I would fully expect Golovkin to win this fight. We'll be tuning in, but that's mainly because it's Golovkin, and I don't see this as ultra competitive. It doesn't really excite me as a real challenge to Golovkin's title and his throne at the moment. And I think this is the kind of fight that comes in between bigger fights. So I'm expecting Golovkin to win that fight. The other 2 fights I want to look at are both happening at the Motorpoint Arena in Cardiff. And a couple of really interesting fights for me. First of all, Gavin Rees is going up against Gary Buckland. Now, to me, I think this is going to be an exciting fight, and I think it could be a good tear-up, a good British tear-up. I expect Gavin Rees to win the fight, possibly by later stoppage or on points. But let me tell you why it's interesting for me. I'm not sure where Gavin Rees is right now, mentally, physically. He lost his last 2 fights. Okay, he lost to Broner. That was expected. But I was quite shocked in his last fight when he lost to Crawler. I've mentioned before, before that fight, I expected Rees to have that fight as a nailed-on win. I didn't think it was going to be... not necessarily that it wasn't going to be close, but I fully expected Rees to win that fight, and I was quite shocked when Crawler managed to beat him. I'll be honest with you, because I'm thinking, Gavin Rees has fought at a far higher level. He's fought some good guys, and he's quite experienced. And Crawler, for me, is not as skilled as him. He fights in straight lines, he fights square, and I thought Rees would technically have him in the bag and be able to just use his experience to beat him. I'm not sure where Rees is right now, and Buckland's going to be game. He's going to be going in there for a fight. He's going to be looking to win. This is not the type of fight, I think, where you'd say Buckland goes in really as a big underdog, or expecting to he'll expect to beat Rees here, because he thinks Rees is not in the best place. Okay, Buckland's coming off a stoppage loss to Smith, but he's also proved that he's been in some big domestic fights and he's come out on top. So this is going to be quite a good competitive fight. It's potential to be a really competitive fight. Nevertheless, I'm expecting Rees to win. But for me, those little outside factors of where is Rees right now, and the fact that Buckland can mix it, does really make it more of an exciting prospective fight for me. Next fight, and this is really interesting. Lee Selby is going up against Randall Monroe. Now, when I first saw this fight was made a couple of weeks back, I put a small bet on Monroe. I'll be honest with you, I think the odds are too good to miss, quite frankly. Now, let's look at it. Monroe has fought for the world title, he's fought world-class opposition. Okay, he's lost recently to Scott Quigg. He lost in their second fight, and I believe he was going to lose their first fight before that fight was prematurely ended. Not prematurely ended, but you know what I mean. It was stopped because of not for boxing reasons really. I think that Monroe is a very live underdog in this one. And when I looked at the odds, I thought this is quite crazy. You know, I know Selby is performing, and I know that. I'll be honest, I haven't watched or majorly kept up with Selby's career or seen a lot of his fights. But I will say this: I thought with Scott Quigg people were underestimating Monroe, so I definitely think they're underestimating Monroe when it comes to Selby. Now, you know, I can't say with confidence that Monroe is going to take this because, again, like Gavin Rees, I'm not sure where Monroe is right now. Coming off losses against Quigg, I think Monroe really thought that he was going to upset the apple cart in those fights, and it just didn't materialise. So I'm not sure where he will be coming into this, where his confidence is going to be. But I'll say this: you have to respect where the guy has been, and he's been at the top level. So I think it's too good to miss not to put a little, you know, even if it's a small bet on Monroe. I think the odds are just too good not to go for it. You know, a bit of a risk, but the odds are good. Let me just say that. The odds I got anyway. And I see this as a very competitive fight. It will quite more than likely go the distance. Although there is always that possibility that there's going to be, you know, someone gets caught. But, you know, it is an exciting fight, interesting one to watch. Monroe will be looking to bounce back. He wants to stay in the mix. He wants to prove himself after some defeats, and I think he's going to give Selby a lot to handle. So let's look at these fights with interest. Let's, you know, let me know what you guys think. Enjoy the fights, these 3 fights, and any others that you're looking forward to. Finally, I recently read that there's a likelihood that Cal Frampton is going to be fighting eventually for the WBC title, and it's likely to be against Leo Santa Cruz. Very, very interesting, very mouth-watering, to say the least, okay? You know my thoughts on Frampton. I think he's a real deal. And I must say, personally, I think Leo Santa Cruz, while I can respect what he's doing, I think he's a little bit overhyped. That may be controversial, but I don't really see him as the best thing since sliced bread, like I've seen quite a few people mentioning. You know, people talk of him very highly. I am not 100% sold on Leo Santa Cruz. Okay? I think he's very good, but I don't think he's necessarily skilled. I think he breaks people down. I don't think he's necessarily slick and skilled. And it's those subtle skills, I think, that win fights at the top level. And I think that is a mouthwatering fight. Obviously, Frampton has his next opponent to get past. And Santa Cruz, let me tell you, he's fighting Christian Mahares, okay? Mahares is an experienced fighter, okay? Understand this. If Mahares turns up on his game, he's going to give Santa Cruz a handful. Believe you me. If he doesn't turn up, and he's not on his game, Santa Cruz can wipe him out. But if he's on his game, Mijares can give Santa Cruz a tough night. So don't think that fight is a foregone conclusion, okay? That is an interesting fight. But, you know, this, like I said, this is an exciting prospect. I just read about it. I wanted to give you my quick thoughts. I hope that fight would eventually materialise. And I think that it's a really good fight, prospective fight to be happening. Hopefully, by the year's out, I would guess would happen. If it happens, it would happen, you know, later this year. So yeah, they're my thoughts. Let me know what you guys think. Like I said, I want to get back into making these videos more regularly because I am quite busy, but I'm really trying not to use excuses. And I thought that if I didn't give you some brief breakdown, then I would just go on without making a video for longer and longer. It's best just to get the ball rolling. So thank you very much for tuning in. Let me know what you guys think. This is Boxpred, and I'm out.